So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and wanted to talk about whether or not music reduces our mental capacity, if temporarily. Anyway, that might be kind of controversial, but let me go into that in a moment. As usual, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. I am an ex-Army reservist. I have traveled a bit. I've gotten, MBA and a computer science degree, and I lost almost 100 pounds, kept it off for about 5 years, and I take care of my uncle who has dementia. So that's it for me. So I was thinking, please, anybody who is associated with performing, playing music, whether for as a hobby or whether professionally, this is not meant to suggest in any way that being involved in performing, playing, practicing music is going to reduce your mental capacity. I took piano lessons a long time ago, and my piano teacher was always saying music is good for the brain. And I know at least one guy who, plays pretty well, two guys, maybe more, who once you have that in your head, music is good for the brain, you kind of see things, or maybe you think that you see things. And of course, there are those savants who can play music really well and maybe have other skills as well. I'm not sure, but there's supposed to be something there about music helping you. What I mean is having music in the background as you go through your day. Maybe having the radio on while you drive. Maybe trying to study, listening to music. Maybe that kind of stuff. Is that taking some of your brain power away from whatever it is that you might be doing at any given time? And my guess, I don't have any proof about this, but my guess is that maybe it does. Maybe it does. Because for me personally, I've heard a lot of people, when I was a teenager, people said, yeah, I study with music. So I thought, that sounds interesting. Let me try that one. And, if you try something once and you might not really get it, and you can try it a number of times and you may eventually get it. So I tried listening to music and studying. And for me, people say, well, don't try listening to music to a new song, that brand new song on the radio, because you'll be singing to it because you don't know the words. Maybe you listen to something that you already know. Well, there's nothing that I already know. I never had that habit of buying albums and CDs and, stuff from Apple iTunes or anything like that. I know songs because I've heard them on the radio. And I've heard them, MTV used to play music videos at some point. That's really it. I don't really listen to the radio so much. I don't have a TV. I don't know what any of the big hits are. But, I know WAP. I know that English lady. I know a couple of her songs. I know maybe one or two of Beyonce's songs. But I'm not really into that. I'm not into like rap music or rhythm and blues or rock music or anything like that. But I have heard a lot of songs in my life. But when I tried to study, I realized that I could not. It was not happening. I was listening to the song. And, maybe if I kept trying, it would have worked. But of course, by that time, I probably would have learned the song instead of the stuff that I needed to be paying attention to and studying. And I'm the type of person who I hear almost anything, and I really, really, really prefer it to be totally silent. Totally silent. I remember I was telling my mom the other day that one of my favorite things was when I got up early in the morning when I was a kid and nobody else was up yet, and it was just completely silent. And as fast as people got up and they made noise, that was not my happy place. I was a little bit sullen, a little bit sulky because people were getting up and talking and making noise and stuff like that. So that thing with listening to music while studying probably was never going to work out for me. But I'm just wondering, when I was in the shower earlier today, I realized that a number of different thoughts popped into my head, about thoughts about different pieces that I'm topics for YouTube content that I might want to create came into my head. There's a whole subreddit, I think, called Shower Thoughts, where people are there in the shower and they come up with thoughts like, why isn't this true? Why isn't that true? Why isn't this the case? Now, ain't it strange that people can be so, I don't want to say creative, but we can be so thoughtful when we're in the shower and mostly there's no sound. I mean, maybe we might sing in the shower. And isn't it strange that we might sound so great in the shower to ourselves? Now, it could be, the ambience of the shower itself, that we are hearing our voice in a really particular way. But there are all of these people all over the world who are hearing their voice in a particular way. Maybe it's because there are no other distractions in the shower, so you can concentrate on how your voice actually sounds. So that way, you actually sound good. And maybe that's it. Or I was thinking, when I have insomnia and I can't get to sleep, or I wake up in the middle of the night and same thing, and there's nothing. There's no music, there's nobody talking, there's nothing. And then I have all of these ideas and thoughts. Not all of them end up being great ideas, but I have all of these ideas and thoughts about, this might be a good, topic to talk about. Actually, this very idea of whether or not we are entertainingly listening ourselves to a lower mental capacity while we're listening to all these songs, throughout the day. Of course, not necessarily me, but is it that it's like processed food, right? The same way that if you watch a movie or you watch a television show, a documentary, the news, whatever it is, that's chewed up, processed food. Something that's easy to understand, something that's easy to appreciate. Here you go. Adopt this as your mental framework. And maybe that's what music is too. It's just a way it stops the chatter. Now there's a certain amount of, I understand, boredom, I suppose, from not having anything right in front of you to do. And maybe that's what music does. Listening to music, listening to tunes, it just fills up, blots out all of these times throughout the day when we might be silent, when we might think to ourselves, oh, that thing that my mother was saying, that's what she actually meant. And that thing that my neighbor did. And that's how you figure that thing out. Because when I'm traveling, on public transportation, I don't use my phone. I don't listen to music and sounds and whatever else. And I kind of get lost in my thoughts. And I find that throughout the entire day, that's kind of what my day is, especially since I don't have a TV. It's like every, any moment of time. I do listen to YouTube content if I'm feeding my uncle, for example, or I am changing him or something else where, it's a little bit, I don't really need to use too many brain cells to do what I'm doing, and I know that I want to listen to something. But there are so many YouTube videos that if I see them again, somehow they come up in my recommended. I'm like, what was that video really about? Because I was doing something else. So I wasn't really listening to that. I might have been feeding my uncle, I might have been changing him, I might have been wiping him off. So here it is, I'm doing something, and you know, this is the second time I'm recording this thing, but basically, anytime they do studies with people who say that they can multitask, what they normally notice is that people usually perform all the tasks worse than if they were just doing the task alone. So multitasking is just like doing multiple tasks poorly at the same time. That's like one way of looking at it. It's poorly doing multiple tasks at the same time. So here it is. I'm not completely absorbing what the YouTube videos are about, which is kind of sad because I clicked on it and I was clearly interested in the topic. And at the same time, sometimes I forget to put on a YouTube video. And you know, if it's you, maybe you might forget to put on a song. You know, you want to listen to your tunes while you do whatever it is that you do. And I realized that, okay, I'm not listening to a YouTube video. Wait a minute. Is that how quickly I could feed my uncle if I'm not fumbling with my phone to pause, to rewind, to listen to that bit again, to, you know, fiddle and find the next video, because I'm taking so much more time than I would have if I just fed my uncle alone? Sometimes I'm really like, wow, I didn't spill as much food on him because it's kind of an intricate task to feed my uncle. So I didn't spill as much food. I did not, you know, I did it so much faster. So I'm just wondering if the time that we are not spending just with ourselves, with our brains, the time that is taken up by listening to the latest songs and the latest tunes that come out and da-da-da and da-da-da, and listening to YouTube videos and anything else, maybe we could be making our lives better. Maybe we could be making ourselves richer. Maybe we could make our relationships better. Maybe so many things in life could be better if we were not listening to as much processed content as we are. And maybe if you listen to a lot of music and you just take a break from that, maybe there might be some changes that you notice in your life. That's just me thinking out loud. You know, even if you're driving home late at night, maybe you might be a better driver. You know, maybe you might be a better student if you don't try to study while you're listening to music. Maybe a lot of things might be better if you just focus on what's in front of you. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, dislike, any of those things that people do to give feedback on YouTube. Of course, keeping in mind what you would like for yourself if you were producing YouTube content and asking people for feedback. Have a good one. Peace.